Hi guys, in this episode of Planet Thought Zone, I'm gonna be sharing my thoughts on a horror movie that I checked out recently, that being the most recent Paranormal Activity movie, Paranormal Activity Next of Kin. I also reacted to this movie's trailer when it was released originally? I don't know if it was exactly when the trailer was released, but I've checked out the trailer is what I'm trying to say. So I kind of knew what the movie was gonna be about when I got into it. And if you watched my reaction to the trailer, you would also know how much I complained, or at least like called out another recent-ish classic horror movie reboot, that being Wrong Turn: The Foundation, where that movie might as well have not been called Wrong Turn, because it literally has nothing to do with Wrong Turn. It literally doesn't have anything to do with Wrong Turn. If you haven't watched Wrong Turn, the Wrong Turn franchise, essentially what it is a bunch of cannibals who have mutated in some way, shape or form due to radioactive or just nasty stuff, end up killing usually a group of teenagers. And the Foundation, without spoiling anything about it, had literally none of that. It had no cannibal mutants. And I would say this is not really spoiling anything. And I'm not even saying that The Foundation is not a good movie. I think it's actually a pretty decent movie. But it might as well just have been called The Foundation, and it would have just worked just fine. It really feels like they just wanted to piggyback off of already known movie. And I hate that. One thing that I hate more than a shitty reboot is a reboot that has nothing to do with the original movies. So yeah. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is because due to the title of this movie and the fact that it's also another reboot of a famous 21st century horror franchise, there was the worry that it was gonna be the exact same thing, where it was gonna be a Paranormal Activity movie only in name. And in the end, it kind of is. But the thing is, the concept of what Paranormal Activity is a little bit more loose compared to Wrong Turn, to the point where you can play around with it more. Like, Paranormal Activity isn't just a white people's house getting haunted, or a family's house getting haunted by a ghost, with the ghost gradually making things worse and worse and worse until the last 10 minutes of the movie, where all the shit goes down. It's not just that. It's just being haunted by a ghost and having the POV of a video camera, or the cameraman, or whatever. Just being found footage kind of movie. So those are the requirements for a Paranormal Activity movie. And that's why I am not bothered by the fact that this Paranormal Activity movie is pretty different from your usual Paranormal Activity movies. Because in the usual movies, like I said, it's just a family, usually like one family for most of those movies, being haunted by a specific ghost called Toby. Or a demon. Was it a demon? I don't know. While in this movie, it was, again, another demon, ghosty kind of thing, but the main character's house is not the thing getting haunted, but instead of this Amish family's house, and the plot is like pretty far removed. I don't want to really go over the plot and everything that happens, but the plot is pretty far removed from your typical Paranormal Activity stuff. But the thing is, at the same time, much as it is different from typical Paranormal Activity stuff, it's also literally the plot, I feel like, of like half of the other classic horror movie reboots. Because the plot of the movie is that the main character finds that they have a connection to the villain of the movie in some way, shape or form, which causes them to get haunted or attacked by it, or whatever you want to call it. And I'm pretty sure that this is the plot of a Halloween movie. It's the plot of a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. I'm not sure whether there is a movie that has connection like that is like for Jason, but there's definitely a Freddy Krueger movie like that. So this is such a fucking cliche connection to do. And even the fucking current Texas Chainsaw movie, which I'm still haven't watched, I don't know if it has been released or not, but even that one has this kind of like cliched story, this time going for the cliched story of the main characters moves to this place in the middle of fucking nowhere where the villain is antagonizing everybody, which I guess is also kind of similar to the plot of this movie, but whatever. Nothing is original anymore. What else supposed to say? But yeah, I guess we should start kind of getting into the plot. I'm not gonna be recapping the movie. I've changed the way I do reviews nowadays, so I'm just gonna go over the things that I really liked about this movie, or that really bothered me. After watching the movie, I was reading comments on Reddit of people who have also seen the movie, and I was really shocked that I was not the only one who felt like this movie felt like an Outlast video game. Because, like, I don't even know where that thought came in my mind, like, what exactly caused it. I mean, there is a part towards the end of the movie which definitely made me think, like, okay, what does the hell does this movie remind me of, and why does it not feel like a movie? And I was like, oh yeah, these characters speak totally like characters from goddamn Outlast. But even throughout this whole movie, it just had the energy and the vibe of an Outlast movie. So many scenes I was like, well, this is an Outlast scene. And even like the camera work was 100% like straight from Outlast. And even like certain locations like the church, I'm pretty sure is very similar to the church in Outlast 2, which I haven't played myself. I plan on playing at some point in the future. I will be starting my playthrough of Outlast, a replay of Outlast 1 today, so if you're interested, stick around to the channel. But I haven't played Outlast 2, I've seen people play it though, so I kind of have some idea about what happens in that game. And yeah, the camera work is so good, and I was really shocked that I was not the only one who thought so. And I completely agree with one of those commenters who said that if they ever make an Outlast live-action movie, they should hire this director. Because he fucking killed it. It was, honestly, directing-wise, this movie was great. I think it was, it kept my attention enough, and it was interesting enough, and like I said, it reminds me of Outlast, so I kind of like it. There was certain weird things about it, like this weird slow-mo when they were chased by the demon. But again, that kind of looked cool, like when he killed one of the best, probably the best character of the movie. It was pretty cool. The monster, I gotta say, wasn't particularly scary. Like, I feel like I was the most scared when I was watching the trailer. Like, if you haven't checked out my trailer reaction to the movie, in the trailer, there's the scene at the end where the demon creature is running towards the main characters and the camera. And that shit, when I watched the trailer, spooked me. It genuinely spooked me. It scared me. It was just so freaky to see something run like that, especially because I haven't expected to see that in a Paranormal Activity movie. But in the movie, when we see the creature run like that, I mean, I was just not really that scared. It looked spooky and creepy, yes. And I liked how much it kind of gave me the vibe of The Ring when it was climbing out of the hole in the ground. That was kind of cool. I wish they played more into the ring side of things with that. But it just wasn't scary. And that is true for the whole movie. Outside of the jump scares, which I feel like weren't too annoying, it just wasn't scary. It was more boring than it was scary. Like, the scariest part, I mean, what was even the scariest part? I don't even know what was really the scariest part. I guess the scariest part was probably whenever the demon attacked the main character and the guys in the group were basically dead. Like, they couldn't wake up for whatever reason. Like, that was probably the spookiest scene of all. But even that one, like, you could see the scares from a mile away. The jump scares were able to be seen from a mile away. And probably the one scene that could have held a lot of horror to it, that being the scene where the main character is hiding under the bed and the bed sinks. It would have been really cool if I hadn't seen this scene in goddamn Doctor Who 10 fucking years ago. And Doctor Who did it better. It was spookier in that. So yeah, all in all, not really that scary of a movie. And like I said, the jump scares were able to be seen from a mile away. Like especially when they were running away from the demon towards the end of the movie. And the camera, the two characters are standing right between hay bales. 2 packs of hay bales. And just as the camera turns around to see on the end of the hay bale, that's where the demon is, and that is the clearest image of the demon, I think, that we get in the movie. But I could so easily see that, because it suddenly became so flipping quiet, like it was obviously going to be a jump scare. I kind of have a weird opinion about the end of this movie, though. Should I say a mixed opinion about it. Because it was different from typical Paranormal Activity movies where the demon gets thwarted in some way, shape or form. I guess it's not that different, because the demon does possess some of the main characters in some of the movies. But at the end, the demon is released. He possesses one of the main characters who are not the good guys, but like, or should I say one of the main supporting characters gets possessed. And we have kind of a creepy scene with the possessed version of him crying like a baby, and a cop walking in and him standing up and making the cop kill himself. Like, that was kind of really cool. But I personally had a better and more interesting ending there. Because in one of the scenes, when the main characters actually managed to survive this movie, spoiler alert, there's a shot of the main girl looking super demonic. And like, pieces of her hair are pointing up like horns. Like, I'm gonna put a picture of that scene on the screen right now so you can see it. It looks so much like she's possessed, and it would make sense for her to be possessed in some way, shape or form, because the demon is possessing the body of her mom. They were trying to transfer the demon soul to her body, and she was the one who killed it. Wouldn't it be cooler and spookier and make more sense if she was possessed? And just like the way she looks, like the way she is kind of almost demonically smiling, and with those horns, it just really looks like that, like she's possessed by the demon. I don't know, it's just more interesting to me for that to be the case than what we actually got, which is fine. Like, seeing the demon make those cops kill themselves, cool, but I don't know, I just don't really care about it too much. And now, before I get into my rating for this movie, we're gonna go over my notes that I wrote about this movie, since that is something that I do nowadays. Thank you, Blind Wave. And yeah, it's really cool actually writing down thoughts you have about a movie as you watch it. It's the second best thing then to doing a reaction to it, you know? So yeah, let's see. First thing I've written is, so it's gonna be that kind of found footage. I don't know exactly what I was meaning by that. I guess maybe I was talking about the fact that there are shots in this movie which is supposed to be found footage that are not found footage, and it's just weird when they come up. Like, there's like the 2 shots in the beginning where it's just like a set shot where you just like have a shot of the location where they are. It's fine, like, it doesn't bother me too much. But there's 2 shots in the beginning and towards the end of the movie that really bother me about the fact that I'm not being found footage. In the beginning, we are shown how the main character who holds the camera looks, but we are shown him, but not from the perspective of a camera, of like a camera that is actually in the movie. He's still holding the camera through which we actually see the other characters, and then it switches to a different perspective, which is not of a camera that he owns, but of like an actual movie camera. And then it goes back to him. And that is just kind of weird. And then towards the end of the movie, when the main female character faces off against the demon. There is another like standing shot and not a POV found footage shot of the creature from behind, which, why? It just feels weird. Like, the rest of this movie is found footage, and for a found footage movie, it's actually pretty entertaining. Like I said, it reminds me of Outlast, so I enjoyed it in that regard at least. But it's just weird how these things are shoved in. It just makes the movie feel weird, you know? Yeah, the next thing that I've written is way to shove in a known found footage shot. Cool. Oh yeah, it's weird seeing the masks in the movie. In the beginning of the movie, you have the characters wearing masks and talking about COVID, and it's just so weird. It's just so weird. I get that this movie was shot during that, but it's so weird. It's just weird. Like, I don't know what else to say. It was just so weird seeing that in a movie. I don't know. It's just so weird. Okay, so next thing I've written is, why is this like a YouTube video? I don't know exactly what I mean by that. I guess, I definitely remember as I was watching the movie, there were like parts where I'm like, this is done like one of those dark web videos. Like, it's kind of edited like a dark web kind of video with spooks, and the sounds like from the soundtrack kind of reminded me of that as well. Which is, again, just weird. It makes this movie feel so weird. Okay, so next thing I've written is, explain the bed, Mr. Skeptic-Eye. Because one of the characters in the movie didn't believe the main character that she saw a spooky ghost or whatever. Even though the camera recorded the spooky ghost. But also, like I said earlier, when she was hiding under the bed, and the bed sunk, that was recorded on camera, and when she put the camera to show, to see whether there's something on the bed, there was nothing on the bed. So, how the fuck do you explain that? Like, I can buy the main character being an idiot, and being a skeptic dumbass, and not believing that that was a ghost on the camera. But how do you explain the bed? It's like, there's being a skeptic, and there's being a dumbass. Okay, so theory. Mom is the creature from the trailer, but I don't know what it is with the ghost or the two-headed sheep. I still don't really know exactly what's with the two-headed sheep, but my theory was pretty much correct. The demon was possessing the mom of the main character, and the reason why the mom had left her daughter is because they wanted to use her daughter as a way to transfer the ghost or the demon from her to her daughter eventually, as a way to hold it in. And the thing with the ghost is that the ghost was kind of trying to prevent the main character, the main female character, from being able to be possessed by him, like being able to be forced into him. And in that one scene where the ghost attacks her and everything, which is honestly a really cool scene, he is trying to prevent her from being able to have children, thus not being able to continue transferring his demonic soul from host to host. And that scene also brings a really cool thing about this movie, which is that the demon doesn't necessarily hold grudge specifically to the main characters. They're just characters that end up being involved. So, the demon is not really trying to kill them, as much as he's trying to make them leave. Which is kind of an interesting, actually a really interesting direction to take with this, where the demon doesn't actually care about the main characters and try to possess them or anything, but just wants them to get the fuck away and is actually helping them in a way. I feel like that could actually be a really cool concept for a horror movie, where the demons, or whatever, the villains of the horror movie, do not give two shits about the main characters and actually want to help them because they want to kill other characters in the movie. I feel like that could be actually a really, really interesting movie. It would be very refreshing at the very least. Okay, so the next thing I've written is pick a lock joke, then he actually has to pick it. So, when they first go to the church, one of the characters, who is the cameraman, who is black, the main girl asks him to pick a lock. And he jokes, "Oh yeah, I can pick a lock because I'm black." Haha, funny joke, okay. The Walking Dead did it like 10 years ago. It's kind of a funny joke, but and it's like a shitting on the stereotype kind of scene. But why would you then have a scene where that character actually has to pick the lock? It kind of makes it like, haha, that's a stereotype, you're dumb for believing that stereotype, but then the character has to do that. It's just like, it's kind of funny, I guess. It's kind of like a funny punchline, but I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I would have rather just had it not, the character not do that, because it just feels like it's more of like justifying the stereotype rather than shitting on the stereotype. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, we have a little bit more notes. Okay, you have no survival instincts, you deserve to die. Okay, so what I mean by that is that in the scenes when they were getting into the church and finding the hole which leads to the cave underground with the where the demonic possessed bodies are being held, like everything points to the characters to not mess with that shit. The people in the play, the Amish people, do not want them to mess with that. And they continue. Everything points them towards them not doing that, and they fucking continue. So that was a little infuriating. Just walk 30 miles. So what I mean by that is, in the movie they say that they can't leave the place. That is after the girl gets attacked by the demon ghost. They can't leave because the closest shop for car parts or whatever is like 30 miles, and they have to get some car parts for their truck, for their minivan. But I'm like, if I was being attacked by a fucking demon, I don't care if it's 30 miles, I don't care if it's 50 miles, I'd sleep in the fucking forest if I have to, but I'm gonna fucking walk. Okay? Just walk 30 miles. I feel like I think that there was even a time where I either walked half of 30 miles, aka 15 miles, or maybe it was even 30 miles. I don't know how you calculate it exactly, but like, I walked 13 kilometers in one day. I don't care how far a thing is, I'd walk it if I was being attacked by a demon. Yeah, that was just very silly. How, especially in the scene where they were saying that it's 30 miles, they can't walk that far. They were saying like, tomorrow morning the guys are gonna go and get the car parts, which is just stupid to leave the one character that the Amish want to be there. That's just fucking silly to me. Instead of just taking her with them. But when the character says it, he says it in like the middle of the day that they're gonna do that tomorrow morning, instead of just doing that in the morning of said day. Okay, so next thing I've written is the arm detail. That is in relation to the fact when the girl gets attacked by the demon, when the guys are completely asleep and cannot wake up. There is a detail where you can see the ghost's handprints onto the skin of the main character. And that is a really, really cool detail that I think maybe I even noticed in the trailer reaction, but I'm not exactly sure whether I did or did not. So, there's that. The next thing I've written is, it sounds like a video game dialogue. And that is in relation to a scene towards the end of the movie where the main character, one of the main characters, main supporting characters, the blonde guy, who is the character who led the three main characters to the Amish village, is talking like in this weird, like, religious-y kind of way. And the way he also stands in the corridor, and the way that scene is shot, just makes him look like he is like an NPC from a video game. And that is one of the scenes that reminded me the most of Outlast, and where my brain kind of clicked, hey, this is like Outlast 2. This feels like a scene out of Outlast 2. So does the dialogue. Because the way it sounded like, it didn't sound like a movie. It didn't feel like a movie thing. It kind of took me out of the movie a little bit. But I was like, okay, I don't buy that as a movie, but why the hell does this dialogue still sound kind of convincing and like I've heard it before? And I was reminded of Outlast. Okay, so then I've written down some funny transition. I don't know what that's about. I have no idea what transition I'm talking about. It's probably somewhere when they were driving with the van through, everybody kind of killing themselves or whatever. That's probably where some weird funny transition there was. Yeah, here I've written sound effects are like a YouTube video. Like I said earlier, that the sound effects are like YouTube videos. And there's the subtle demon possession imagery that I also talked about. So I think that's pretty much all my notes for this movie. All in all, it's not a complete waste of time. If you're a Paranormal Activity fan, I feel like it's satisfying enough and it's different enough to where you can enjoy it and appreciate it. The way it's shot is really interesting, but ultimately the movie is just not really that scary, and for a big part of it, it's also kind of boring. So ultimately, I'll give this movie 6.6 out of 10. Above average, but not great. It's definitely not great. But this movie definitely made me want a live-action Outlast movie, which, with the amount of video game movies that are being made nowadays, and video games being made into live-action stuff like Life is Strange getting its own live-action series, The Last of Us getting a live-action TV show, the Uncharted movie. I hope that we could get an Outlast horror movie, which I think it could be really fucking cool. But yeah, what did you guys think about this movie? If you have seen it, comment down below and let's have a discussion about it. And also, before we end this video, I just want to give a huge shout out to my currently 3 patrons on Patreon: Omar Bridgman, Deadpool, and Shenches. Thank you guys for your support. I really appreciate it. It really means a lot to me that you have decided to support me and have continued to support me for such a long time. I hope you continue to enjoy my content and continue to support me going forward. Thank you very much. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe. Also, check out the links in the description to my Twitter if you want to follow me over there, and to my Wattpad where I post my stories, because in addition to doing all these videos on my channel, I'm also a writer. And if you don't enjoy my stories, or you simply enjoy my videos, you can head over to my Patreon or to my Ko-fi account, where you can pledge support and help get the channel going. Help support me so I can keep writing the stories you enjoy. But if you don't want to do it, that's completely fine, because you help me out in other ways, like liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and especially sharing this video with somebody who you think might enjoy it. And I think this is pretty much it for this video, so hopefully I'm gonna see you in the next one. Bye!